गोपीजनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी गोपीजनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यमुनतीरवनचारी यमुनतीरवनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा पार्थसारथी राधा पार्थसारथी राधे जय राधा पार्थसारथी राधा पार्थसारथी राधे जय राधा पार्थसारथी राधा पार्थसारथी राधे हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय प्रभुपाद जय 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 ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस प्रजोगचार्य स्तोत्र। His Divine Grace ऐसी भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Doing this class in English or in Hindi? English? Can't hear. Most devotees are Hindi. Oh. But the Chinese, can they translate from Hindi to Chinese or from English to Chinese? So should I speak in English? English for the Chinese. Chinese Yatra Ki. Huh? Accent. Of course, Indian accent. I am Indian. Okay. So, maybe the purport is very small, and so is the translation. So, we'll read the purport and the translation in both languages, and then speak in English. And then anybody has a question or does not understand, raise the hand and we'll try to translate. Okay? ज़्यादातर सब भक्त इंग्लिश समझते हैं। कौन कौन इंग्लिश नहीं समझता यहाँ? Okay, कुछ भक्त हैं। So today we are doing fourth canto, 25th chapter and verse 15. Written in English also. Can everybody see that board? Or should we move the Tulsijis on this side? नीलस्फटिकान्वैदोर्या मुक्तामरकान्तनूरने क्लप्ताहरम्यास्थालिं दीप्तम् श्रिया भोगवतीम् इव। Go ahead. Oh, Hindi translation. Mataji's. So what is decided? I just have to do English and somebody else is translating from English to Hindi? Oh, I'll just do English. Neela sapphires, Sphatika crystal, Vaidurya diamonds, Mukta pearls, Marakata emeralds, Arune with rubies, Klapta bedecked, Harmya Stavlim, the floors of the palaces, Diptam lustrous, Shriya with beauty, Bhagavatim, the celestial town named Bhagavati, Eva like. Translation. The floors of the houses in that city were made of sapphire, crystals, diamonds, pearls, emeralds, and rubies. Because of the luster of the house in the capital, the city was compared to the celestial town named Bhagavati. Please repeat. उस नगर के घरों की फर्श नीलम स्फटिक हीरे मोती पन्ने तथा लाल से निर्मित थी। घरों की कांति के कारण यह नगर भोगवती नामक स्वर्गीय नगरी के समान लग रहा था। The celestial is heaven, Swarg, Mohan Rupa Prabhu. The celestial stand for Swarg. Heavenly is Swarg. Celestial is just celestial. Yeah. They have translated celestial into Swargiya. Bhagavati is not in Swarg. In any case, we will explain. Purport. In the city of the body, the heart is considered to be the capital, just as the capital of the state is especially gorgeously filled with the various high buildings and lustrous palaces. The heart of the body is filled with various desires and plans for material enjoyment. Such plans are sometimes compared to valuable jewels such as sapphire, rubies, pearls, and emeralds. The heart becomes the center of all planning for material enjoyment. हिंदी में इस शरीर रूपी नगर की राजधानी हृदय है। जिस प्रकार किसी राज्य की राजधानी ऊंचे ऊंचे तथा कांतिमय प्रसाद रहते हैं, उसी प्रकार हृदय अनेक इच्छाओं तथा विषय भोग के अनेक योजनाओं से पूर्ण होता है। ऐसी योजनाओं की तुलना कभी कभी नीलम, स्फटिक, पन्ना, मोती इत्यादि से की जा सकती है। इस प्रकार हृदय भौतिक सुख की समस्त योजनाओं का केंद्र बना रहता है। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी अनुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ये भागवतम का पोर्शन हम महाराज पुरंजन की कथा सुन रहे हैं। In this portion of the Srimad Bhagavatam, we are hearing the story of Puranjan. Puranjan is a very unique story out of the whole Srimad Bhagavatam, because everything in the Srimad Bhagavatam that is being described in the form of a story is actually a pastime. Everything is real. Whereas this story of Puranjan is not real. There is no Puranjan. The Puranjan is a made-up character. And to deliver a point to Prachin Barahi, Narad Muni has made up this character, made up the whole city, and is describing how a human being falls into attraction of a woman, attraction of a family life, and in the end, what he achieves versus what he wanted to get, and how he gets cheated out of everything that he had, namely the youth, the time, and soon enough, Kalkanya comes, who is other name for Jara or old age, and she starts eating you up, and one day the Kal comes and takes you away, and you realize that you've spent your whole life just serving your senses, and because of the attraction that you got into a family life, and so on. So this is most appropriate for the brahmacharis. But at the same time, this chapter itself is just explaining the splendor of the material life. And then, of course, in the next chapter, it starts to tell how you fall into it. Here is the splendor of the human body, female attraction, getting into a grahastha life, lording it over, or at least trying to lord it over. So, in the process of describing that Puranjan is looking for a palace, he's looking for a place to settle down, he's a king, and he comes to where the south of the Himalayas, that is the most celebrated land on earth, according to the Shastra, the best land on the earth, the most pious, most civilized, is the south of the Himalayas. So, of course, Puranjan gets attracted, and what he gets attracted to is described here. The palace that has 9 gates. 5 of those gates are in this direction, 1 in that direction, 1 in that direction, and 2 in the other direction. These are your 9 gates. And inside, what a splendor it is. How beautiful it looks. So that is what is explained here. So Srila Prabhupada is taking the opportunity to take the description of the palace, the floor of the palace, the beauty and the richness, the luxurious beauty of the palace, and equating that with the heart and the desires in the heart. So he says, just as the capital of the state is gorgeously filled with various high buildings, heart in the body is filled with various desires and plans to enjoy. We see this very often. You go meet a little child, and civilized, educated humans, they come to visit the house, they meet a little child, and immediately they start asking, what do you want to be when you grow up? And if they say, I want to be a Hare Krishna devotee and move into the ashram, of course you will not be their favorite. So you have to say something like, yes, I want to be a doctor, I want to be an astronaut, I want to be a teacher, I want to be a scientist. And these days everybody wants to be a computer engineer, and so on and so forth. So these are desires. We're training our children right from the beginning to aim for something, shoot for something, have some desires, try to accomplish, and it is called rat race, which will never end. That's what rat race means. There is no finish line. The finish line is death. There is nothing wrong with the race, but if the race has no line in the end, it's death. So how quickly I want to race to death? By trying to enjoy all the senses that I have. So, Srila Prabhupada says, just like a capital of a city is filled with so many nice big buildings and big pomp and show, our heart is also filled with so many desires. And these desires are usually, by the example of I want to become a Hare Krishna devotee, these desires are usually very materialistic, completely materialistic, completely far-fetching. I want to be an astronaut and this, that. So, Srila Prabhupada is explaining the similarity between the two, and further he says, such plans are sometimes compared to valuable jewels and sapphires. Then, once the child will tell you that he wants to be an astronaut or she wants to be an astronaut, then you equate that with that person, and somebody else comes, you introduce that child, oh yeah, here is so and so, and he wants to be an astronaut. So those things are connected with your personality, just like the jewels are connected to your beauty of the body wherever you would wear those jewels. The heart becomes the center of the planning for material enjoyment. All the desire of material enjoyment originates from heart or originates from man. So that's all that is explained in the purport. If there's any questions, we can take, or we can tell you about Bhagavati. In the translation, Narad Muni has compared this nagar to a place called Bhagavati. Is there any questions on what we have discussed or covered, or anything from this whole pastime of Puranjan? Yes. Yeah.
How is it that the desires are considered valuable?
These jewels have material value, right? And these are material desires. So, what is the value of the jewel? What is the what is the importance of a jewel? The pricier the jewel, the more attractive it is supposed to look. So similarly, there is a direct comparison between the material beauty, the material price, the material value of the jewel to the material desire. That's how Srila Prabhupada is parallelly comparing. Jewels don't have a spiritual value all that much. They do, but not really all that much spiritual value they're known for. They're really known for material value. And the heart filled with material desires is also, every material desire has a price tag on it. And so does every jewel. So that is kind of a parallel. Does that make sense now?
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other question? Yes.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, regarding planning, material planning, actually, sometimes we make plan regarding preaching, and that plan is so attractive that it disturbs during our sadhana. So sometimes we are chanting, then in chanting only planning comes. No, we don't hear actually the name Hare Krishna. So what about this planning actually? Is it also material?
That is a very interesting question. That is actually a trick. It's a trick. The trick is that trick of coming to spiritual life, following the sadhana bhakti process, working under a guru or a temple authority in the right direction, is that even if your mind diverts from the name, it still diverts into preaching activity. It's not material. It's a trick that even if you fall, you're safe. You're still safe. As long as you're still in the ashram and you're still engaged in 24-hour devotional service, you cannot fall. Even if you're not thinking of the name, even if you're thinking of another activity while chanting the holy name, because that other activity is completely transcendental. It's preaching Krishna consciousness. How much more transcendental can you get? So, if you are, it's okay. Right, Prabhuji?
Should we also
As long as you're not thinking of any material planning, then you're okay. Yes, please go ahead.
should we make an endeavor to pull mind again from preaching? And
It is not such a bad idea, but the only thing we're saying is like it's training wheels. You know, when a child is trying to learn how to ride a bike, right? So the child can either fall this way or that way. So both sides we put a little training wheel. If it falls this way, this training wheel will not let it fall. Put a training wheel on this way, it's not going to fall. So one side is your association. Would not let you fall, because even if you're thinking of your other friends and people you associate with, you're thinking of devotees. That's okay. You still haven't fallen. Then you can think of your activities. What is my plan? What is my activity? What did I do today? What do I plan to do tomorrow? What would be so nice to do? Is all spiritual. So that's your training wheel on the other side. So if you fall into thinking that side, still safe. We got training wheels on you, both sides, as long as you're in the ashram and you're engaged in 24-hour devotional service. Because even when you're resting for 6, 7, 8, whatever number of hours, you are still performing devotional service. Because you're resting to give your body enough rest so it can go back the next morning and engage in devotional service again. Right?
thank you, please. Thank you, please.
So that is the fun of being in devotee association, being in the ashram. You cannot fall. You are. Any other question? All right. If there is no other questions, we will explain you about Bhagavati. Okay, there is a question.
हरे कृष्णा। एक्चुअली प्रभु जी ये भी आपने काफ़ी अच्छा बताया कि प्लानिंग भी करते हैं चैंटिंग के समय, तो मतलब ये स्पिरिचुअल एक्टिविटी है, बट ये तो इनअटेंटिव चैंटिंग है ना, और ये ऑफेंस है, और ये मतलब अब अगर बहुत ज़्यादा हम ऐसा करते हैं तो हम जब को तो सुन ही नहीं पाएंगे, वो जो कि काफ़ी ज़रूरी है।
Yes.
मेरे डाउट है, प्लीज़ क्लियर।
Yeah, so that's why we're not suggesting officially, please think of your preaching activity when you are chanting the holy name. We are still understanding and preaching the philosophy of attentive chanting, but what is being explained here is just in case, because you are ashram living 100% 24 hours engaged in devotional service kind of a person. So even when you divert, you still don't fall. Whereas somebody else who is not 24 hours engaged in devotional service, they go inattentive chanting, they can go anywhere. Not that the brahmacharis can, but still. If you are within your service and within your association, then you're still safe. So it's a bigger safety net for me. If I'm in the ashram, I have a bigger safety net. And if I'm not in the ashram, I'm not in direct association, I'm not in 24 hours devotional service, I have a smaller safety net. It is harder for me to survive. That's the advantage of the ashram. That's why Srila Prabhupada established ashrams. Ashrams are very expensive to make and keep and sustain and so on. But we still do it because we want to give that facility to the devotees to come forward, to the jivatmas, come forward, be here. Here is the ashram. Engage into 24-hour devotional service. Follow the dharma of the Satyuga. Will give you that facility in Kali Yuga. What you are following is the dharma of Satyuga. But you are doing it in Kali Yuga. You're doing very good. So, even if the chanting is a little bit inattentive, of course, soon as we realize, no, my mind is gone off the mind, we want to bring it back. But advantage you have is.
Thank you.
Yes. Another question.
This is with further regard to Prabhuji's question. So, inattentive chanting, if it's not pure chanting, so is it mixed with the modes of nature? And if so, how? And if not, what is it?
One more time.
Inattentive chanting. It's supposed to be an offense.
Supposed to be an offense?
Yes.
Yes.
So, is it mixed? Is this the seva mixed with the modes of nature, with the gunas? And if so, is it in goodness, passion, or ignorance?
Which one? Chanting?
Inattentive chanting.
Inattentive chanting is at least goodness. Cannot fall below goodness. But really, it's in pure goodness. Vishuddha Sattva. Chanting of the holy name is in Vishuddha Sattva. And even if it's, no matter how inattentive it is, even if it falls, it cannot fall any lower than Sattva. It cannot go into Rajas. It cannot go into Tamas. It will at least stay in Sattva. That wasn't the question, or you're not happy with the answer?
Well, the third canto of the Bhagavatam talks about, the devotional service mixed with the modes of nature. And, you can be angry and doing service. And
devotional service is if I understand you correctly, you're comparing devotional service with chanting of the holy name. It is. But devotional service is a more general term. And chanting the holy name is more specific. To my understanding, maybe we can ask the other devotees, but to my understanding, chanting of the holy name, the chanting of the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. No matter how attentively you chant the holy name, it still is in Sattva, at least. If not in Vishuddha Sattva, it will at least be in Sattva. Maybe other senior devotees can give their opinion also. You're not happy with mine, but that's my opinion. You're happy with that or no?
Well, the reason, well, I'm not completely satisfied with it because, well, I would want to see some praman, something from Shastra. The second thing is that the devotional service, as we understand it, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam. So, how could this, if there is such a thing as mixed devotional service, then it would be one of these mixed with the modes of nature. I'm proud of my chanting. I'm chanting very too attentively. See, look how nicely I'm chanting, like that. And there are instances of people, they're devotees. They're very famous, actually. People used to say they chanted very intense rounds, and now they've gone off.
You're right.
So,
Thank you for bringing that up. I think you make a very good point that one can be proud of their chanting. But really, I still don't think that chanting can fall into. There are many examples, mainly in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Nectar of Devotion, that explains about a devotee, even in a neophyte stage, still is a devotee, still in the Sattva or the Vishuddha Sattva. No matter what kind of chanting of the holy name is still, is not able to fall anything below Sattva from whatever scriptures I have ever studied in my life. But if one of our acharyas has said that the chanting of the holy name can fall any lower than Sattva because you are not attentive, I would certainly give it a consideration. But from my understanding so far, I haven't come across. Any other question? Oh, you have another question? Any other question? Okay, we have a few minutes. We will tell you about Bhagavati. Bhagavati is a very, very special place. Bhagavati is a city, and there is also a river called Bhagavati, which flows in the city called Bhagavati. Bhagavati, the city, is in the lower planetary system, in the Patals. It is mentioned in the Ramayana also, not only in the Srimad Bhagavatam. The Srimad Bhagavatam, it's mentioned 3 or 4 times. But in the Ramayana also, when Hanuman was going to find Sita, Sugriv was giving, because the leader of Hanuman's team was not Hanuman, it was Angad. Angad was the team leader, and Hanuman was part of the team. So Sugriv gave the description of going down south, how and what they will face. So he told them that you go any much farther than Sri Lanka, you would get to Urdhvaloka, and there is a mountain called Kunjar Mountain, and beyond that Kunjar Mountain is the city called Bhagavati, which is ruled by the Nagas. It's Nagalok, where the Nag reside. Vasuki is one of the kings of that place, and so is Takshak. Takshak. All these Nagas, they are very fond of all these jewels and rubies and diamonds and gold and all that. So that's why you come across so many stories even now that where there is so much wealth, there is a Nag there. Because the Nags like that wealth. So they go and protect that. And if somebody dies thinking of their wealth, how my wealth is going to be protected after I am gone, then they sometimes take a birth as a Naga where they have been keeping their wealth. So Bhagavati, Sugriv told Angad, don't go there. The Nagas will not spare you. If you cannot find Sita until that point, just come back. Otherwise, you'll never come back. The Nagas will not spare you. They will just eat you alive. Also, in the first canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada mentions the Bhagavati river. There are 3 planetary systems and there are 3 rivers that are supposed to be the best rivers of the 3 planetary systems. So the higher planetary system, the heavenly planetary system, has the best river called Mandakini. The Mandakini river is known to be the best river in the heavenly planet. And of course, on this Earth planet, there is a river that is supposed to be the best river, which is the Ganges. Ganges are the best river for this planetary system. And the third planetary system, the one below, is Bhagavati river. So it is as important as Ganga, the Bhagavati river. Also, in the 36th chapter of the 10th canto, the chapter where Lord Krishna kills Aristasura. I can't see the clock. Okay, I only have a few minutes. Okay. So in the 36th chapter of the 10th canto, the Bhagavati river is mentioned again by Shukdev Goswami, and Bhagavati river actually has a connection right into the Radha Kund. Shukdev Goswami explains how and why the Radha Kund had to be made. Because there was a demon called Aristasura who attacked the Gopas and the Gopis playing around in the Govardhan area. And when the Aristasura came, attacked the Gopis, they hid. They got scared. So they went and embraced the trees, not part of the Chipko Andolan, but just because they were scared. Nobody understands the Chipko Andolan anymore. Some young people know about Chipko Andolan? No? You know? Some people. Chipko Andolan was to do with the saving the trees. In India, there was too many trees were being cut down and not enough being planted. So people started the Chipko Andolan, that I'm going to go and embrace the tree, and you want to cut the tree down, you have to cut me first. That was the Chipko Andolan. But this is the same kind of scenario here. All the gopis, they went and embraced the trees, because they were scared, and Krishna came and he looked at Aristasura, and he took Aristasura on, and he killed Aristasura. And now he goes back to the gopis and says, oh, okay, let's go back, we'll play again. And the gopis said, no, we're not going to play with you, Krishna. And now Krishna is surprised. Why? We don't know. Radharani said, no, we can't play with you. Okay. Why Radharani doesn't want you to play with us? He said, no, you go and ask Radharani. He goes to Radharani and says, we will not play with you. We will not even talk to you because you are a sinner. You have committed a great sin of killing a cow. That Aristasura was a cow. And Krishna said, no, that wasn't a cow. He was a demon. No, he was a cow. He was in the body of a cow. You killed a cow. You are a sinner. You're a cow killer. We will not talk to you. Okay, what can I do now? Okay, Radharani says, you go all over the entire universe and take bath in all the holy rivers, in the all three worlds, and all the holy lakes, and all the holy wells, and all the holy ponds. You have to take a bath in all of them. Then we will consider you purified from the sin of killing a cow. Krishna says, what? I have to go and take a bath so many places? But I don't leave Vrindavan. I never go out of Vrindavan. I live here. I'm not going to go. Well, if you're not going to go, we're not going to play with you. So Krishna says, okay, I have a plan. What I will do is I will invite all of these holy rivers and ponds and lakes and wells to all come here and bathe me here. And Radharani laughs at him. Yeah, you're going to invite them? And he says, you watch how I invite them. So he hits his foot in the ground and makes a whole big empty lake, which is now known as Shamakund. And he plays his flute and he invites all the holy rivers to come. And the first holy river to come, as described in this 36th chapter of the 10th canto, is Bhagavati. She comes first. I am here at your service, Krishna. What do you want me to do? Just jump in the Shamkund. And all the rivers from all over the place, they all come. And Krishna says, all of you, fill up my kund. And then, when all the rivers and everybody is filled up the kund, then Krishna goes and takes a dip in it. That is Shamkund. And when he comes out, he says to Radharani, I am purified, clean, no more sin. I have taken a bath in all the holy rivers in all three worlds. So Radharani says, okay, we will play with you. It's okay, we consider you clean now. We will play with you. Now Krishna says, I won't play with you. My sins are all washed, but you are the sinners because you called me a sinner for no reason. You accused me of cow killing. That is a sin. So, now you have to get purified before I would play with you. So the gopis are now thinking, yeah, he's got a point. So what do we do now? He says, come in my Shamkund, everybody, take a bath, purify yourselves from your sinful activities, and we will play with you. And all the gopis are ready to go into the Shamkund. Radharani says, no way! We're not going to enter the Shamkund. Krishna just went there. He washed off all his sins in that kund. Now if we go, we're going to get all those sins on us. We're not going to go into Sham. This is not a good plan. We're going to make our own kund. So with their little bangles, Radharani did not want to hit her foot in the ground because she was afraid that as Krishna hit his foot and that became a big lake, if I hit my foot, nothing may happen and I may get a cramp in my foot. And then everybody would laugh at me. Look at her. She wanted to make a pun with her foot. So, Radharani had no other tools. She only had bangles. So she took out her bangles and she started to dig to make a lake, digging with the bangles. So seeing her digging the ground, all the gopis, they took out their bangles and they started to dig. And when the other gopis in the whole world, including the Golok Vrindavan, they saw that our gopis are in stress and they have little tools and they have a big pond to dig, they all came from all over the place and started to help Radharani digging the pond. So with that digging with the bangles, they made the Radha Kund. And then Krishna asked, okay, your kund is beautiful, but there is no water. They said, no, we will get our own water. We will all line up to Mansi Ganga, and we will bring the water from the Mansi Ganga. So all the gopis made a chain, all stood in a line, and the line ended up at Mansi Ganga. They would fill up a little water pot of water from Mansi Ganga, pass it to the next gopi, and the next gopi passes it to the next gopi, and the next gopi, and so on. And one pot of water makes it into the Radha Kund. That was a very long process. So when it was almost night time, Krishna offered that, look, your process is very slow. You don't have any water. So what I will do is I will invite the holy rivers again and help you fill your pond. So invites the holy rivers again. And they make permanent connections into Radha Kund so that water comes from underneath the Radha Kund. Even the Shir Sagar came and made a connection. So inside Radha Kund, sometimes the milk is also visible coming. So Bhagavati was the first river to show up when Krishna called the holy rivers. She is such a holy river. And Narad Muni here is comparing this beautiful city with Bhagavati. So here are all the references from Srimad Bhagavatam about the Bhagavati river. Any questions? Okay. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Nitai Gaur Premanande.